Hello and welcome to Headline Spotlight, where we bring you the top news from around the globe. I'm your host, Frank King. Today, we have a packed show with the latest updates from the world. Let's dive right in. Putin's controversial visit to Mongolia. Russian President Vladimir Putin has made his first visit to a member of the International Criminal Court since an arrest warrant was issued for him 18 months ago on war crime charges. While in Mongolia, he is expected to meet with President Ukna. Despite international calls, including from Ukraine, for his arrest, the Mongolian government remains silent on compliance. Putin's visit comes amid international isolation due to the ongoing war in Ukraine. Netanyahu's strong response to hostage deaths in Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has expressed deep sorrow for 6 hostages killed in Gaza, reaffirming Israel's commitment to retaliate against Hamas. The bodies of these individuals were recovered recently, and Netanyahu vowed to continue working towards the release of all hostages, while promising that those responsible for their brutal deaths would face justice. U.S. seizes Maduro's personal plane in an impactful move. U.S. authorities have seized a plane owned by Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro in the Dominican Republic. The aircraft, valued at $13 million, was reportedly purchased illegally and used for state visits. This seizure signals growing tensions between the U.S. and Venezuela and reinforces U.S. sanctions against Maduro's regime. Taiwan president challenges China's territorial claims. In a recent interview, Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te challenged China's claims on Taiwan by highlighting the 1858 Treaty of Agen, where China ceded territory to Russia. Lai argued that if China is genuinely concerned about territorial integrity, it should also seek to reclaim those lands from Russia instead of targeting Taiwan. He emphasized that the real issue is not about territory, but rather China's desire to reshape the international order. Taiwan's government maintains that only its people have the right to determine their future, rejecting China's assertions of sovereignty over the island. Missouri police officer killed in chase tragedy struck in Missouri as Officer Felicia Carson lost her life during a high-speed chase while pursuing a suspect. The 33-year-old officer, a mother of 6, succumbed to injuries after her patrol car crashed. The suspect, identified as 23-year-old Christopher Wehmeyer, has been charged with aggravated fleeing, and the community mourns the loss of a dedicated public servant. Philadelphia Eagles combat bogus political ads. The Philadelphia Eagles are taking action against counterfeit political ads falsely endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris for her presidential campaign. The team is working with advertising partners to remove these ads, which misleadingly suggest the Eagles' support for Harris amidst the lead-up to the November election. Scientists warn of human-induced landslide risks in Kerala, India. A devastating landslide claimed over 250 lives amid intense rainfall that climate scientists attribute to climate change. Research shows that human activities, including deforestation and land use changes, have heightened the risk of such natural disasters, calling for urgent adaptation strategies to minimize future threats. Malaysia and Sinkhole Rescue Operation Malaysian authorities have concluded a 9-day search for Vijaya Lakshmi Gali, an Indian national who fell into a sinkhole in Kuala Lumpur. The operation will transition to recovery efforts as no trace of the woman has been found, highlighting the inherent dangers associated with urban infrastructure. World War II bomb deactivated in Czech Republic. Czech explosive experts safely detonated a rare World War II bomb found at a chemical plant, avoiding potential disaster. After a controlled explosion, initial assessments show minimal damage, while authorities continue to monitor for any remaining ordnance from wartime activities in the area. NASA resolves Starliner sound mystery. NASA has addressed the concerns surrounding strange noises reported by astronaut Butch Wilmore aboard the Starliner spacecraft. The agency confirmed that the sounds resulted from audio feedback related to the station's complex communication system and pose no risk to station operations or crew safety. Emergence of emerald ash borer in Oregon. Invasive species experts in Oregon are raising alarms over the detection of the emerald ash borer, which is capable of destroying entire forests. This beetle has already decimated over 100 million trees, and local authorities are implementing quarantine measures to mitigate its spread. Game-changing carbon capture technology developed scientists at Caltech and USC have unveiled a groundbreaking device capable of converting shipping emissions into bicarbonate salts. This innovative reactor can potentially revolutionize carbon capture in the shipping industry, advancing the goal of achieving net zero emissions by 2050. That's all for today's Headline Spotlight. Thank you for joining us. Stay informed and engaged. Good night. Welcome to Spotlight Story. I'm Frank King, bringing you the latest intriguing discoveries from around the world. Today, we have an incredible find coming from one of the most famous archaeological sites in history, the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. Archaeologists have recently uncovered a secret chamber at the base of the Great Pyramid using advanced ground-penetrating technology, and what they found has left them with more questions than answers. Researchers have been exploring the Western Cemetery in Giza, known for its hundreds of rectangular tombs called mastabas. These mastabas belong to the elite citizens and relatives of King Khufu, who ruled ancient Egypt around 4,500 years ago. Yet, amidst the rows of tombs, there's one puzzling spot: a large, empty area with no structures above ground. Beneath this unassuming stretch of sand lies something extraordinary. Just a few feet below, archaeologists have discovered what appears to be an L-shaped structure. But that's not all. Further down, they've identified another, much larger anomaly connected to the first. Motoyoki Sato, one of the researchers involved in this discovery, described the corners of the L-shaped structure as too sharp to be naturally occurring. This strongly suggests these are human-made constructions. Could this explain why such a vast section of the crowded cemetery has remained bare for so long? The team behind this discovery utilized cutting-edge technology to reveal these hidden structures. Between 2021 and 2023, researchers from Higashi Nippon International University, Tohoku University, and Egypt's National Research Institute of Astronomy and Geophysics used ground-penetrating radar (GPR) and electrical resistivity tomography (ERT). GPR employs electromagnetic waves to detect shallow underground features in high detail, while ERT helps locate deeper structures like walls and shafts, though with less precision. By combining these technologies, the researchers discovered an L-shaped structure about 32 by 50 feet, buried just 1.6 to 6.5 feet under the sand. Deeper still, they found evidence of a much larger structure spanning over 1,000 square feet, buried between 11.5 and 33 feet below the surface. So, what's next? While these high-tech tools have provided a glimpse into what's hidden below, they can only tell us so much. The researchers now believe the L-shaped structure might have served as a passageway to a deeper tomb, filled in with sand by the ancient Egyptians to deter grave robbers or the curious living. But many mysteries remain. Is the deeper structure filled with sand or completely empty? To get answers, the archaeologists have begun the painstaking task of excavation, as reported by Live Science. What lies beneath the sands of the Western Cemetery? A forgotten tomb? A hidden chamber? Whatever it is, this discovery could change our understanding of the Giza Plateau and the secrets it still holds after thousands of years. I'm Frank King. Stay tuned to Spotlight Story as we bring you more updates on this fascinating find. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Spotlight Story, where we dive deep into today's most intriguing headlines. I'm Frank King, and tonight, we're turning our attention to a significant development involving Russia's latest military advancement. Two U.S. researchers have identified what they believe to be the probable deployment site for Russia's 9M-370 Burevestnik, a new nuclear-powered and nuclear-armed cruise missile. President Vladimir Putin has boasted about this missile, which NATO has codenamed the SSE-X-9 Skyfall, claiming it has an almost unlimited range and can evade U.S. missile defenses. But not everyone is convinced. Using satellite images from July 26 provided by Planet Labs, a commercial satellite firm, These researchers spotted a construction project next to a nuclear warhead storage facility in Russia, known by two names, Volodya 20 and Chebsara. This facility is about 295 miles north of Moscow, and is believed to be the missile's potential launch site. One of the researchers, Decker Eveleth, an analyst with the CNA Research Group, pointed out that the imagery reveals 9 horizontal launch pads under construction. These launch pads are set up in 3 groups and surrounded by high berms, likely to protect them from attacks or accidental blasts. The site also seems connected by roads to nearby buildings, probably where the missiles and their components would be serviced, as well as to existing nuclear warhead storage bunkers. According to Eveleth, this site appears to be designed for a large, fixed missile system, and he believes the only one currently in development by Russia is the Skyfall. So, what does this mean? Well, it suggests that despite a series of failed tests in recent years, Russia might be moving forward with the deployment of this new missile. Some experts, however, including Jeffrey Lewis from the Middlebury Institute of International Studies, share Eveleth's assessment that this development is very unique and very different, signaling a new phase in Russia's missile capabilities. Yet, not everyone agrees on the strategic value of the Burevestnik. Critics argue that it doesn't offer capabilities that Russia's existing arsenal lacks, and that it comes with substantial risks, both strategically and environmentally. With a troubled test history, including a 2019 incident involving a nuclear reactor that led to a deadly blast and radiation concerns, the missile's track record isn't exactly confidence-inspiring. Further complicating matters, Russia's Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov recently announced that Russia would update its nuclear weapons use guidelines, citing Western escalation in Ukraine. This statement adds another layer of complexity to an already tense geopolitical situation. Despite all the speculation, there's no clear consensus on what the deployment of this missile could mean for global security. Experts remain divided, with some viewing it as a dangerous, yet potentially ineffective addition to Russia's nuclear arsenal. And let's not forget, this is all unfolding under the shadow of the New START treaty between the U.S. and Russia, which is set to expire in February 2026. With no current plans for renegotiation, some fear this could spark a new nuclear arms race. So, what's next? Will Russia's new missile change the balance of power, or is it more of a political statement than a game changer? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, the world is watching closely. That's it for tonight's Spotlight story. Stay tuned for more updates as the situation unfolds. I'm Frank King, and we'll see you next time with more in-depth coverage on the stories that matter most. Good evening, and welcome to today's Spotlight story. I'm your host, Frank King. Tonight, we bring you a gripping account of courage and survival on the high seas. Hold on tight as we dive into a heart-stopping rescue operation that unfolded off the coast of Australia. Imagine this. You're stranded at sea, battling monstrous 20-foot waves and howling winds, clinging to the side of your yacht for dear life. That was the harrowing reality for a 60-year-old man and a 48-year-old woman aboard the 62-foot yacht, Spirit of Mateship. For 24 hours, they endured the merciless storm, their vessel pummeled by waves traveling at a staggering 56 miles per hour. Their desperate situation was captured on video as rescue crews braved the brutal conditions to reach them. With powerful winds gusting over 31 miles per hour, the yacht drifted nearly 200 miles from its starting point, heading perilously close to New Zealand. By the time the Australian Maritime Safety Authority located the vessel, it was over 100 miles east of Nora, New South Wales. The Australian Defence Force ship HMAS Canberra arrived on the scene around 7:30 a.m. on Tuesday, with the NSW Water Police vessel Nemesis joining the rescue effort 2 hours later. Initial attempts by 3 helicopters the previous night had to be aborted due to the extreme weather. The conditions were so severe that the rescuers couldn't assist until the vessel had drifted even further from Sydney. NSW Police Chief Inspector Anthony Brazil described the challenging rescue operation. It's a matter of timing. Get the person to jump as they're coming in, making sure they're wearing life jackets and catching them one at a time. Remarkably, the duo was recovered without injury, though they had to jump from the yacht to the rescue boat amid the storm's fury. Ben Flight, duty manager at the Australian Maritime Safety Authority, reported that while the sailors were uninjured, their yacht had suffered significant mechanical issues, rendering it uncontrollable and taking on water. The Spirit of Mateship, a vessel that had competed in the Sydney to Hobart yacht race many times, was ultimately abandoned after sustaining damage beyond repair. As the sailors make their way back to Sydney after a grueling 12-hour voyage home, they will no doubt be reflecting on their narrow escape from disaster. Tonight, we salute the bravery of the rescue teams who defied the elements to bring them to safety. That's all for today's Spotlight story. Join us tomorrow for more news that matters. Until then, stay safe and take care.